What is a compensation to leave agreement? A compensation to leave agreement is a legally binding contract. It is made between a landlord and a tenant. In this agreement, the landlord agrees to pay the tenant to move out of the property. It is sometimes called a cash for keys agreement. These agreements are typically used when a tenant is living in uninhabitable conditions. This could be due to disrepair or necessary renovations. The landlord wants the tenant to leave so they can make repairs or rent the property at a higher price. The agreement outlines the terms of the tenant's departure. This includes the amount of compensation the landlord will pay. It also includes the date by which the tenant must vacate the property. Why is a compensation to leave agreement important? A compensation to leave agreement is important because it protects both the landlord and the tenant. Without an agreement, a tenant might struggle to reclaim their bond. They could even face legal action for withholding rent. This is even if the property is uninhabitable. For the landlord, a written and signed agreement helps to avoid disputes. It ensures that the tenant will leave the property by the agreed upon date. The landlord can then proceed with their plans for the property. Who can benefit from a compensation to leave agreement? Both landlords and tenants can benefit from a compensation to leave agreement. For tenants, it provides financial compensation for having to move. It also gives them a guaranteed date by which they need to leave. This can be especially helpful if they need to find a new place to live quickly. Landlords benefit from having a clear and concise agreement in place. This can help them avoid costly and time-consuming legal battles. What does a compensation to leave agreement include? A compensation to leave agreement should include several key elements. It should clearly state the amount of compensation the landlord will pay to the tenant. This should be a significant sum reflecting the inconvenience of moving. The agreement should also specify the date by which the tenant must vacate the property. It should outline the condition in which the property must be left. For example, the agreement might state that the tenant must clean the property and remove all belongings. Finally, the agreement should state that both parties are releasing each other from any further liability. This protects both the landlord and the tenant from future legal action. Remember, it is essential to have a written and signed agreement in place. This will protect your rights and ensure that both parties are clear on the terms of the agreement. The agreement should also include any disrepairs that were not made, along with photo evidence to cover yourself as the tenant. According to UK law, landlords are responsible for maintaining the property and addressing any disrepairs. In the UK, landlords have a legal obligation to maintain their properties in a habitable condition. This means that they must ensure that the property is safe, structurally sound, and free from serious disrepair. According to the Landlord and Tenant Act 1985, landlords are responsible for repairing the structure and exterior of the property, including the roof, walls, windows and doors. They must also ensure that the plumbing, heating and electrical systems are in good working order. If a tenant reports a disrepair issue, the landlord must address it within a reasonable time frame. Failure to do so can result in legal action, and the tenant may be entitled to compensation. Tenants should document any disrepair issues with photos and written reports to provide evidence if needed. It's important for both landlords and tenants to understand their rights and responsibilities when it comes to property maintenance. A well-maintained property benefits both parties, ensuring a safe and comfortable living environment for the tenant and protecting the landlord's investment. Remember, clear communication and prompt action are key to resolving disrepair issues effectively. If you are a tenant experiencing disrepair, don't hesitate to report it to your landlord and seek advice if necessary. Knowing your rights can help you navigate these situations with confidence. Always keep records of your communications and actions taken to resolve any issues.